MyPillow had a bit of a disagreement with a guest after he claimed that voter fraud was not actually the real issue when it came to elections. Which means it's time for another episode of Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win.
China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
In an appearance on Steve Bannon's War Room, psychologist Robert Epstein was explaining the details of his $3 million initiative to try to make it, less easy for people to vote.
We need to complete the building of this system so that these companies will back off. We know we can get them to back off because we did in the 2020 Georgia Senate runoff elections. We got them to stop all of their manipulations, including their partisan go vote reminders. It can be done. Monitoring is the key. Don't let them fool you, okay? Voter fraud is not the issue. They want you to think it is. They control your thinking. They don't want you looking at them. That's why they're getting you obsessed with voter fraud.
I agree with them on everything except for election fraud is huge. It's not, these are a combination of things. And Steve, we're at an apex in history where artificial intelligence, we need to have that regulated, and we need to get people in office that can regulate it. So you have to have elections instead of selections.
You know, it always surprises me to watch right-wing media, just like how fearful and conspiratorial it always is. Oh, they don't let them fool you. They're controlling your thinking. That's what this company... Why does it always have to come back to, they're trying to control you, they're trying to stop, they're trying to do that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just, again, a constant barrage of fear. Now, so look, what is he talking about? He's talking about tech companies that have been trying to increase voter turnout. Okay, all right. So some of the things that they're trying to do, some examples of that is providing discounted or even free rides for people to the polls who don't have reliable transportation. What's so insidious about that? Election updates from Snapchat, in-app voter registration from Tinder, giving paid time off for workers at Dropbox so that they can go and vote. I mean, come on. The partisan go vote reminders. You realize that Republicans can also do those go vote reminders, right? I mean, it's not like it's, again, manipulation. Manipulation. Oh no, it's manipulation. How is getting a reminder to say, hey, you should probably vote? How's that manipulation? That's just a reminder. It's a reminder for you to do your civic duty, by the way. But again, here's the thing. The thing that just kind of like encapsulates all of this, right? The right wing doesn't want people to vote. Why? I mean, take their own words for it. Okay, godfather of the modern conservative movement, Paul Weyrich. He famously said, when more people vote, the right wing tends to lose. And he's on the right wing. He was on the right wing when he was alive. And so he's like, we don't want more people to vote. We want less people to vote. We do not want turnout. And so here's the thing, right? The difference, like the difference that MyPillow has with this guy says, well, voter fraud's not really the issue. It's the turnout from the other side that's the issue. Maybe we should focus on getting less of them to turn out while we get more of our people to turn out. That actually makes sense from a, numbers perspective, right? From an electoral success perspective, yes, get more of our people to turn out than yours. Now, of course, they don't actually have the numbers. When more people turn out, Democrats tend to win in a lot of races. So that's why Republicans have had to go to, things like gerrymandering and voter suppression, purges of voter rolls, things like that, based on, black names, essentially, right? And these are the places where they try to actually reduce the number of polling places so that you create gigantic lines and then pass laws that say you can't give water to somebody who's standing in a line for 6 hours if they're going to vote. So that's the kind of stuff that they're doing. Now, that goes against what MyPillow is saying, because what MyPillow is doing is continuing the painting the Republican Party into a corner when it comes to voting. So they need every right-winger to come out and vote, okay, so that they can maintain their positions of power. But the problem comes when they're constantly told, and this is the voters, right, that, oh, voter fraud, election fraud, they're stealing your votes, it's rigged. And so is that going to be, is that going to depress turnout? Yeah. Yeah, there are going to be people who are like, what's the point? Oh, if my vote's just going to get stolen, if everything's rigged, oh, then why am I even turning out? It's a gigantic pain in the ass to go and vote with all the regulations and stuff that they put in our way. I might as well just not do it. And so that's the nightmare scenario for the right wing, that they paint themselves in the corner with this voter fraud narrative, which isn't true, by the way, so much that they actually turn off their own voters. That's the problem, okay? So again, that seems like dummy. You're doing it wrong. You want to do voter suppression. You want to suppress their votes, not ours. Stupid. But again, speaking of, and I know he wasn't saying any of that, but again, if I were a right winger, I'd be looking at this voter fraud stuff and be like, moron, idiot, dummy, stop it. Stop it. What we want to do is we want to keep them from turning out. And that's what they did for a long time with all these different voter suppression measures that have been employed targeting mainly black Democratic voters. And so, as well as students, young people. And of course, among young people, unfortunately, there's not as much turnout as there should be or as we would like. But again, that's the way that it's been for quite some time in this country. A lot of voter apathy, for understandable reasons, of course. But nonetheless, that voter suppression has been very, it's worked. And the gerrymandering, it has worked. That's why Republicans currently have a majority in the House, because they redraw these districts to be very, very friendly to them. And look, this also happens in Democratic districts, especially when you have centrists versus progressives. You have this redistricting that happens to really kind of benefit establishment corporate Democrats. And so they have an easier time getting reelected. And so, all of this is pretty well related here. That said, when it comes to MyPillow, understand that when he's faced with that argument, he's too stupid/stubborn to admit that his crusade to prove this non-existent voter election fraud, it's doing more harm to his cause. It's doing more harm to the Republicans and being able to stay into power, get elected into power, than it is helping. And so now you are seeing some people on the right, like this guy, going, enough with the voter fraud stuff. Okay, enough with this. We need to focus on, doing what we do best, and that's trying to suppress the other side.